So I can't emphasize this enough. You and the photographer or photographers you're working with are a team. You guys are a united front. This was my first time working with this photographer. Her name's Abby. She was great. Absolute pleasure to work with. Super helpful. And with this, we're just trying to get some simple dress shots. So it's important as a videographer, you want to consult with the photographer before you mic the dress, because the cord will show underneath the dress, not through the dress, but underneath it, when you mic it. So check with the photographer, make sure she gets the shots that she needs. Then you can go ahead and get the shots that you need and then mic the dress. All dresses are made different, so you really do want to treat the dress with white gloves and be very careful and delicate with it. Since this venue was kind enough to have a hook up there, it makes for like really good shots. A little tip I want to share with you is that if for some reason the bride has her dress on, or you're really crunched for time and you don't have time to get the dress shots that she may have specifically asked for, another alternative I like to do is when she is all put together and before the big major moments, whether it's first look ceremony, what have you, come to be, get that really nice shot of, especially if you have a gimbal, just going slowly up the dress and getting that reveal. You're showing the dress, you're showing the bride in it, she's looking her best, she's feeling her best, she's truly looking and feeling like a bride. So as an alternative, if you don't have time for these shots, it's another good idea to have in your toolkit. So 143. So okay, we're playing good. I can still get shots in. Get out of your way. Yes.
I'll move quicker on the other details too.
Oh no, you're another reason why you want to be friends with your photographer, because usually the photographers, at least in my experience, don't hate me photographers, but you guys usually set up the flat lays, and it just makes for some really good video shots too. So Abby was kind enough to wait for me. She even had her own supplies. Like, she was prepared, and it was awesome. So I got some really good shots out of that. I think they look pretty.
Okay.
And I can always go wider or tighter if I need to, if I don't. Yeah, that looks really nice.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, you're good at this.
Thanks.
So I just about always shoot in 60 frames per second when it comes to shooting the flat lays, really because I like to slow down the footage, and if I incorporate any motion or rack focusing, it just really smooths it out for me.
Vow book too, if you want to add that to it.
Ooh, yes, please.
It's kind of all the girl stuff.
Yeah. All I'm doing here is I'm going through the flowers and just creating depth. While the room is fairly like a good size, the display was pretty tight. So you have to work with your surroundings and keep a lookout for that. And worst case scenario, can't recall if I used that specific shot, but I could always crop it out and punch in if I wanted to use that shot because I saw like the mirror and the other camera and stuff in the shot. And unlike the room we were just in, this room is smaller and there's much more people in there. So you want to make sure that you're polite, but also somewhat assertive because you want to be able to communicate to get, in order to get the shot that you need. And usually people are happy at weddings, so be polite. Hey, can you please scoot over here? Hey, can you guys please, get closer to one another? Um, this bridal party was great, easy to work with. That always makes my job easier. Now, for this particular shot, I really liked how Marissa was already facing the window. I didn't have to bug the makeup artist by any means and just asking her to turn around because that natural light really does make a huge difference. Another big piece of advice I want to share with solo videographers, especially the newer ones, don't act like you can't talk or you have to be a fly on the wall. Now, while it's not about you, you want to make sure that you can talk and communicate easily with the bride. So ask them about the preparation and the rehearsal and things like that. It just build some rapport. It just makes you comfortable, makes them comfortable. Now, this was towards the end of the makeup time, so she was just about done, but I mean, this is another one of those cases where I don't need every shot of it. I just need a few because whether it's for a quick shot or something a little bit more extended, I now have that.
Please do. Yeah.
All right, so now I'm on my nifty 50, and this thing, I mean, whoa. It's the f1.2. This thing is just screaming fast, screaming good. The only 50 millimeter I'm ever going to need in my life. You could just tell by the creamy bokeh, especially when I do this rack here on the invitation. It's so nice.
When you're done with this spotlight, can you all set up the rings really quick?
Sweet.
The flowers, probably.
How are we doing on time? I don't want to hold you up with this.
2:14.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Sweet.
Perfect. Are you good with this?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point of the day, the brides already have their hair and makeup done. I got the dress shots and flat lays that I needed, and the drone shots. So really, at this point, in terms of my shot list and what I need throughout the day, I'm pretty much caught up. Just kind of going around and seeing what other opportunities there might be of things I could shoot. Um, the photographer left her flat lay display up for me, so I was able to just get different shots of this.
You almost forgot about the huge fan that was there? Yeah. Alright, all done?
Yes, thank you.
You made it look great.
That looks really good.
Not hard with all your pretty details.
They are.
Ooh,
Those are true.
yeah.
So
Do you guys need there's one gift exchange, the baby's sleeping. And then the other one we might do when we're dressed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
For my
I'm
mom.
just gonna put your rings back here.
Awesome.
Do you want to do the gift exchange in here or in the other room?
Put your ring back on your finger.
Yes, we'll put it on my. I haven't worn it. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Because
very
we got it by
clean.
clean.
It looks really shiny.
Nice.
Fancy.
It won't be super shiny the whole day, but that's okay. Yeah, so I don't know if we're early, but I got the girls
No, this is like
whatever
right
you
on
guys
point.
need.
This is perfect. Just want to make sure all your details are in order. Greg's ring is just sitting on top there because
Okay.
just so you know which box.
Pretty.
Do you girls want to sit on the bed?
All right, so here we have this gift exchange. I have my A cam, which is where I'm going handheld, and it's on my 50 millimeter, and then my B cam, which is my 70-200 on a tripod, both on A7 IIIs. Now, keep in mind when you're shooting in a room with mirrors like this, like there's one huge mirror and then another one. You want to really do your best to look out to make sure that you're not getting yourself in the shot or your gear for that matter. Personally, I don't mind if a photographer's in a random shot of mine. It doesn't bother me as much. It's kind of part of the experience. Part of the day is being documented. You spend thousands of dollars on it. Why not, show that? It's just more raw, in my opinion. But with this, I'm just making sure that, hey, bridesmaids, give her the gift that you want to give her, but also please create a little space for me to shoot, which I have with my B cam.
I love the contrast. And Lev. Wait, whose was the long one?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do this so
Yeah, okay.
The advantage of using this two camera setup, even as a solo videographer, is that I could have one locked down on the main subject who isn't moving, in this case the bride, and now I can get cutaways or different angles of her. So it's really nice, and I'm leaving my B cam rolling just about the entire time here, so if there's any important sound or things like that, I can still capture that.
What if the bridesmaids read this out loud right now?
Oh gosh.
Stop it!
You want us to read it to you?
Oh god, I'm gonna cry. I don't want to read it out.
No, I'm sorry.
My
Somebody
makeup's
got
already
stuck
messing
together.
up.
As much as I want her to read it, I don't want her to cry.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna ruin her makeup.
Yeah.
If I'm in the mirror,
And then
let me
makeup
know.
people are not here.
I like the Greg is cool poop.
Anyways, but we were saying how we could probably put together a lot nicer of a one with the same letters and pictures, but this was just
It's okay.
it was like a last minute thing, but I thought that you would
Y'all
like
know I'm
it.
sentimental.
So I know I just said make sure your camera's not showing in the mirror. In this case, it's so out of focus. The bride's mostly covering it, and same with one of the bridesmaids there. So it's pretty unnoticeable, so I'm okay with that. I also have other shots I can cut to because I've been rolling this entire time and switching up the placement of the camera.
Oh my gosh.
Where's the poop? A boo!
She can't say boo yet.
Okay. I'm so delighted to be here today. Wait, she can talk now?
Yeah.
Except for
It's translator.
Oh, I skipped that part. Thank you for choosing me
It's a super common tactic to shoot through people or like over the shoulder. It's just something I love in these wedding films. It just creates that nice depth between your subject and your foreground.
Made you light up. Oh,
Aw, she's so sweet. Little 9-month-old baby.
why did we read that?
I don't want to read this anymore.
My contacts are messed up.
So once again, I'm just trying to create depth here. We have the dress in the foreground and the bride in the background right here. And just getting those angles. I'm going to bring the photographer in there now, and we're going to get different perspectives of this cool exchange between the bride and her bridesmaids.
Okay, great. Okay, we're done. Okay, keep going.
That's really cute.
Okay, no more.
Wait, can I read Bradley's, please?
Okay.
Dear Marissa, congratulations on the wedding. It's good to know you finally landed a spaghetti.
So now things are in motion, right? I don't have time to check my B cam because and now we're having one of the sisters and bridesmaids of the bride read her special letter. So I am hoping that I have a good shot and angle where I left my B cam, which in this case I couldn't ask for a better shot. And then I'm getting some cutaways with my A cam.
But
I can't see
I
anything.
actually had the privilege to read through all of y'all's.
Who has the most
Because I was the one
Whose was
who
the best?
they sent it
Was
to.
it Nikita's because Avi wrote
It's a little bit of a song and dance when you're shooting solo and you're using two different cameras. But I'll tell you what, yeah, it's a little heavy, but totally worth it. I 100% recommend it.
Again,
Or
like,
tomorrow.
yeah, I could probably cut these out better and remake you this.
Wait,
one.
are they just for me or are they for me and Greg?
Well, it's for you.
It's for you. Okay.
I promise you, the bridesmaid standing in my B cam shot is not a paid actress. It was just like perfect. She was like perfectly out of the way, but still there. Okay, now we're getting this big moment.
Okay, first one. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I think I need glasses now because I'm seeing blurry. From makeup being wet. Okay. Yes.
So for this is mainly for photo, but you can have some really funny moments and sound bites from these types of from these shots. So I left my B cam just locked straight on. Told the photographer, "Hey, you do your thing. I'm going to be shooting around you." That's part of being a team.
Okay, make your feet touch. Alright. Okay, there we go.
This first
Just
one?
make sure you don't fall off the bed.
No, yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Okay, everybody flex your toes.
Yeah, for video too, just like kind of like smile, kind of
Yes.
giggle, look at each other.
Who knows good dad jokes, Chelsea?
Cute, cute, cute. And then everyone smile at me, say peanuts.
Hopefully there's not blood.
Cute. And look at Marissa. Give her a nice little snuggle.
Give her a
Give
snuggle.
Marissa a snuggle again.
Oh, snuggle.
Cute.
Wait, how do we snuggle?
Whatever feels natural to you. And look at her for a second. Tell her how pretty she is. Awesome girls. One more.
I'm so gorgeous. Compliment yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
Self-love.
Yeah. Lovely. Is that?
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
get
we're
me?
good, yeah.
Okay. Awesome girls. Oh gosh.
In that case, I really only needed to use my B cam, but I thought the A cam might work. But the B cam had perfect framing, perfect focal length. It was kind of just worked, so didn't need any other shots.
I feel like we might feel like interesting proportions lying on the bed like that. Yeah.
You can do one like
Okay.
this. Yeah. Why don't you sit
Oh,
here?
I'll
Sitting
sit
like
back.
crossed.
I'll sit back here like this.
Oh, cute. We can even get one more girl in the back here. How she is
We
kind of
should be in
equal.
the back.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And then
Oh.
just get a little more snuggled. And everyone shift slightly over this way, just so you're kind of equal with the windows in the back.
This way.
Awesome. I'm gonna scoot this.
I don't know how to do this.
Cute. Oh, this is cute.
Wait, should I put my finger in? I just realized.
Yes. Everyone kind of like touch each other, like touching. Cute. Aww. This could be like an ad for like Pottery Barn or something.